Hi everyone, this is Wetslicks. We're back on TT Isle of Man riding the Edge 3 for another video. Wanted to do something on sort of a comparison of some of the different bikes that you can use in the game, starting with the Supersports. There really are only a couple, really, because even when you've got maybe different manufacturer years or different designs of bike, they're often exactly the same stats. Apart from, it seems like the Triumph. So the options are, you got the Honda, the Yamaha, the Kawasaki, and the two Triumphs. So you've got the Moto 2 engine, and also this one, the 675R ABS from 2016. That seems to be slightly different. It's got different performance points to the other Triumph, slightly different engine and torque. So it's going to be interesting to compare those because I really haven't ridden this bike much with Gary Johnson. But we're going to start with the Honda. We're going to go with Davey Todd. All the bikes are going to be set up exactly the same way, full fuel, and all of the suspension settings on 1, as I normally do. And the transmission is going to be first gear 1, fifth gear -1, sixth gear -4, because that's kind of how I normally have my bikes set up in this. And we're just going to go down Bray Hill and do maybe the next couple of corners. I feel like that's quite a good test of top speed, and then you've got a couple of tight corners there as well, down by Corton Bridge and all of that. So this is the Honda with Davey Todd. All of the ABS, traction control, anti-wheelie are all going to be the same. They're all going to be on 1 with 3 engine brake as well. I find the Honda is a great kind of all-rounder. It feels very, very stable on the road. I thought it had quite good top speed, but then when I've been driving the Yamaha recently and comparing this against it, seems to be about the same. But I find this bike is like a really good one. You know, if you're starting off with the game, it's pretty stable. It's got pretty good speed. I'd say this is a good kind of all-rounder, quite good acceleration generally, and it just feels stable, feels nice to ride. Oh, as we have a huge wobble there. That is unusual for the Honda. Normally doesn't have that so much. That more on the Yamaha, if anything. So yeah, this is really a good all-round bike, and I'd say if you're starting off with the game, or maybe you don't feel comfortable on the others, everyone's got some different styles, I think, and some people are definitely going to be more comfortable on bikes than others. And it just feels very easy to ride and get on with, I think, the Honda. And it's, of course, with the inline-4 engine, it's an absolute screamer around here with the high revs. We'll be getting somewhere up near our top speed around here, but I really thought the top speed was a bit better with this, because when comparing it to the Yamaha, they seem about the same, that they kind of struggle to reach up to 180, which the Kawasaki seems to be able to do a little bit better. So we will try that next as sort of a point of comparison. You can see down here getting up to near 180, back off a little bit there. And this is kind of the point. You come up over Crosby Jump and then down the hill, where we'll really get a good idea of the top speed of this Honda engine. Down the hill here, where are we at? 178, 179. Not quite 180. It really struggled to get any higher than that. So yeah, that is the Honda, and we'll try the Kawasaki next. Right, so this is going to be the Kawasaki here with Dean Harrison, and this is generally the bike you see at the top of the leaderboards, this or the Triumph, I think with the Moto 2 engine. So we'll try this down here now as sort of a good point of comparison against the Honda. So, of course, down here, going Crutchley Road and then down Bray Hill, 6th gear. I do find the engine noise on the Kawasaki 6th gear, full revs, slightly annoying. It's a bit of like a horrible broken toaster drone to it. But I do love the handling on this bike. I think is very good normally. So we hit the bike on the road there as we're trying to turn in. But this bike, the more I've ridden it, feels more and more like a almost a good in between between the Supersport. Oh, as we crash, but it feels like a good in between the Super Sports and the Superbike. It feels like it has really good acceleration compared to a lot of the other Super Sports. Like it has a good amount of power, really good top speed. Definitely the best top speed of any of the Super Sports, which is so important around the mountain course, just because you've got these really long straight sections where you are going to be getting up to top speed. Like this one coming up here through Crosby in a minute. That's Union Mills, not Crosby, but. Again, good handling. Maybe a little bit more of a handful than the Honda because it's got a bit more power behind it. So you have to be a little bit more careful maybe through some of the turns. It's maybe slightly easier to drop than the Honda is, as we saw just a moment ago when I did drop it. But I mean, already there, coming up to Glenvine, Ballagary, we reached 180, which the Honda wasn't getting anywhere near. Again, here, even on this straight, we're at 180 again. So because you've just got a bit more speed, sometimes Kawasaki, you've just got to let off a little bit more or brake maybe where you wouldn't with the other bike, with any of the other Super Sports, which is why I kind of said it's maybe an in-between to the Super bikes, because that's something you definitely have to do a lot more than. We're already 182, we're going to reach 183 just about. So yeah, the top speed is so good with this thing, which is absolutely crucial when you're chasing the top times. The only one that can kind of get anywhere near it, I think, is the Triumph, which doesn't have as good top speed, but trades off for acceleration. So let's try the Yamaha next, and then we'll go on to the Triumph and see what we can do there. So this is the Yamaha that we're going to try now. Jamie Coward's 2022 machine, which I quite like with the orange and black. I do think it looks quite cool. And off we go down Glen Crutchery Road and down Bray Hill then. And as I've said in some of my previous videos, this is definitely a bike that I struggle with. I find the handling a little bit unwieldy on the lower suspension settings, which is normally what I run with the other bikes. It really struggles to turn in, whereas I find it so much easier on the Honda, on the Kawasaki. The turning seems quicker, and it's always something that this game a lot of people complained about when it came out. The bikes are so slow turning, really difficult to control, and at slow speeds as well. I find the Yamaha, it not only is it turned slower, the braking seems a little bit more unstable, like hard braking as you're exiting. Some of the straights where you're having to bleed off a lot of speed quickly. I use joint brakes as well, which is probably something I haven't mentioned in any of my other videos. I didn't used to. I used to use separated front and rear, but I noticed that someone had set like a world record time. And they were using joint brakes. So I thought, oh, well, if they can set a world record with joint brakes, I don't need to be using separate ones. And yeah, I did find it was much easier. But yeah, the Yamaha, it seems a little bit slow turning, unstable under braking, and then to top that all off, doesn't have as good top speed. And we reached 175 there, where the Kawasaki easily reached 180. So we were about 5 miles an hour slower coming up to Glenvine. And here, the Kawasaki was already at 180 here, and we were 6 miles an hour slower on this corner. And it just adds up. Every single corner after corner, you don't have the speed that some of the other bikes have. Having said that, a lot of people find that the Yamaha's handling is better. Personally, I do not. But maybe with the standard suspension settings, like everything at 5, as it would be just default, Perhaps it does have a little bit better handling than some of the other bikes, but for me, now having sort of messed with the suspension settings and dropped everything to 1, which normally I find results in faster leaning of the bike, it's still, I'm just struggling to get the bike around any of these corners that usually feel, very, very flowing and very fast. This just, I just feel like I'm not able to get the bike turned over onto the side that I want. So that's kind of my analysis of the Yamaha as we go smashing into the curve there. And we will try the 2 Triumphs next and see how we get on with those. So this is the Triumph, the Daytona 765 Moto 2 from 2020. This is a bike that I have ridden a lot and really enjoyed. It's got a slightly different engine to a lot of the other bikes, which seems to give you sort of, you tend to change gear at lower revs. I need to change all these suspension settings all down to 1 to make it all fair with the other bikes, so that everyone had the same setup. So we're going to drop these, drop that to 4 minus 1. I love the handling on this bike. I think it handles amazingly. I think it's very, very easy to lean and kind of get the corners set up as you need to. As I've mentioned as well, it also has much, much better acceleration than a lot of the other bikes, but not as good top speed. So that's kind of the trade-off with this bike. So you can see the engine sounds very different. It's lower revs, and you can just about hit 180 miles an hour. You can, like, with the transmission setup, as I've got it set up here, you do get the top speed. You just don't get there very quickly at all. Only on the really, really long straights do you get the proper top speed that you kind of need. Whereas, a bit of big wobble there. Yeah, the Kawasaki definitely has good acceleration and top speed, and it seems to get up to that top speed very, very quickly, as we've gone a little bit deep there, and we're going to just about avoid the pavement. So this is a bike that I have found is very, very quick around the Clips course, which is one of my favorites in this game. Quite a historical course where they used to hold some of the races way back when, and is included in the game, and that's the shortest course in the game, lap times, around sort of 5 minutes, something like that, 5 minutes 30. Just trying to wind our way through there, Union Mills, and it is very quick around there because there aren't a lot of straights on that circuit, so it's very winding. It's very lots of medium, slow-speed corners, not a lot of straights. So this bike definitely has the advantage. And if you look at the leaderboards on the game, we go a bit wide there. A lot of the best times are Triumph and Kawasaki. There's always a Yamaha thrown in there as well somehow, and maybe a Honda. All the bikes are pretty equal, I would say, all things considered. But having tried out a lot more of them at the moment, I would say the Kawasaki comes out on top as probably the faster bike. You can see even up here, Kawasaki was at 183 down this hill. We're struggling to get to 180 again on this, but the trade-off is that you do have really, really good acceleration from the slightly different engine. You just have to be aware of that you're sort of shifting up at slightly lower revs. So a lot of these very fast or flowing corners, you can keep your speed up with the Triumph really, really nicely, and you can just sort of flow through everything. So it does struggle on the straights, but it does have a lot of advantages to it as well. Whereas I feel like the Honda's kind of advantage is that it's easy to ride, and we've actually finished a section, and The Yamaha, I wouldn't say is maybe has as many advantages. But yeah, the Triumph definitely has a good trade-off in that you're trading off top speed for acceleration. But we'll try out the other Triumph because I haven't tried that out much at all. So we'll give that a go now. Okay, so this is the other Triumph, the Daytona 675R ABS from 2016. That does seem to have, it's definitely got more performance points than the other Triumph, but and maybe higher top speed. But I don't know whether it's got any kind of better acceleration. As I said, I haven't really ridden this bike much, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't realize that it was that different to the other Triumph in the game. So we will give this a go now and see how we get on. Is the engine noise different? Sounds a little bit different to me, maybe. So down Bray Hill here, and yeah, definitely the top speed seems a bit better because we got up to 178 down there for sure. Down to fifth gear, a little bit of acceleration, bit of a wheelie. Down to quarter bridge. Oh, a bit wide. Doesn't feel quite as nice to ride, I don't think, as the other Triumph. I'd say that's one of the big advantages. And to be honest, maybe that's the most important factor that I haven't discussed with all of these bikes is, are they fun? Do you find them fun to ride? Do they keep you playing the game and coming back to it? That's probably the most important thing. Not necessarily just which is the fastest. And I do find the Moto2 Triumph a lot of fun. Just the way that it flows around the corners. That is definitely not a flowing corner that we just did there. That was pretty horrible. But yeah, it does seem to handle a little bit differently. A bit unexpected, actually. So I was expecting them to be pretty much identical, but it does seem like this Triumph has better top speed than the others. I'm just going to bleed off a little bit of speed there with the brake, which normally we don't have to do so much with the Moto2 Triumph. You can see coming up here, this straight, we're better top speed wise. We were just about 180. But still not as good top speed as the Kawasaki, of course. We come over Crosby jump, down the hill. Are we going to hit 180 here? We definitely are. We are already there. So that's quite good. So this could be another very, very decent option for quick lap times. Oh, the rear wheel lifting off there. But for me personally, the bike isn't quite feeling as easy to ride. The handling, is a bit of a handful, as that there shows. Yeah, not the easiest bike in the world to get around the corners. Just doesn't feel like it's flowing quite as nicely. Not able to sort of place the bike quite where I want in the road. Exactly the same thing happens there at that corner. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful and instructive with sort of choosing what kind of bike that you might want to use in the game. This is all the Supersports. Planning to do this for the super bikes as well, where I definitely have some favorites, and also it's also pretty obvious which bike is the quicker one. Again, all pretty equal, all things considered. But yeah, so that video will be coming up. That'll be interesting to see as well how all those bikes compare. But for the moment, for me personally, conclusions: certainly the bike that is the most fun for you to ride is definitely the bike that you should be riding. If you're looking for super quick lap times, you're competing on the leaderboard and you want to set world records, the Kawasaki or the Triumph Moto 2 seem to be the way to go. This thing, the other Triumph ABS, could be a really good option as well. Honestly, I just haven't ridden it enough, and taking it down Bray Hill there, probably not a bike I will be using a huge amount more either, just because the handling felt a little bit off. But that's it from me for the moment. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and see you soon.